Okay, welcome race fans. My name is JP Tuason, and I am the CEO of Tuason Racing. I'd like to welcome everybody to Riding Shotgun Conversations with TRS. We've got two really great guys, very good friends of mine on the show tonight. The first of our guests is a professional race car driver. He is a professional triathlete. He is the first Celebrity TRS Esports champion. Woo! Woo! He's also a professional actor and kontrabida sa Provinciano. His name is Mr. Ivan Carapiet. How you doing, Ivan?
The back scratcher. I'm great.
I miss you,
great
bro.
to see all of you. It's really great to see all of you. JP, all the way there from Singapore. What's up, buddy?
There we go.
Everybody watching. Hello, everybody. Please tune in to this channel.
That's right. We have another superstar on the show as well. Okay, so he is a karting champion. Okay, he's jumped from go-karts to cars and is now winning races in cars. It's crazy. We believe that he's a force to reckon with in motorsports, and not only that, he's only 17 years old. We have Alex Brown. How you doing, Alex?
Thank you for having me, JP, and hopefully we do a good show for everyone that's watching.
So this is actually an international show because Alex is all the way from Singapore. He's streaming in from Singapore tonight. So welcome, both of you guys. How are you? How's everything?
Everything's great, JP. Everything's great. I'm from the Philippines. I don't know how is it there, Alex, in Singapore, but I hope you're safe and you guys are all good.
Yeah. Is there any racing in Singapore going on right now?
No, there's nothing really happening in Singapore. I think everything's kind of locked down because of COVID. So yeah, kind of missing going back to the track and seeing you guys in Philippines.
Yeah, so don't worry, you're not missing anything here right now as well. At the moment, the track is also closed, and I think if all goes well, then possibly in July they'll open the track for some practice.
Yeah.
July? Where? Clark or Batangas?
I think what they're going to try to do is open both Batangas and Clark if it's possible in July. Now it'll really depend on the restrictions, so we all have to wait and see. So cross your fingers, guys. And if they do open in July, probably either late August or September, I think they're going to start up with the local races. But honestly, on my side, what I'm looking at is I'm looking at Formula One, because Formula One is going to start up next month. And if they actually get the races started, they will lead the way for all of us to be able to start up local motorsports. So, guys, that's what we all have to be looking out for.
Yep.
Yeah, man. Let's be positive and I hope for that happens, right?
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so today what we want to do is we want to tackle the question of how to properly get started in motorsports, and what is really the proper career path. How do you get to where you want to go, right, in motorsports? And the reason why we're going to talk about this is because Ivan has had the opportunity to go from go-karts to touring cars to single seaters, right, in your career.
Yes,
Um,
yes. Very,
and
very,
and, uh,
very blessed.
and the only reason why you didn't become like a Formula One driver is because you became an artista. Man, so tough.
Mm, No, no, wait. Can I correct that? Can I correct that, JP?
All right,
I
go
want to
ahead.
correct that.
Go
This
ahead.
this goes out for to all our the products, the products of Filipino drivers, which are great. The only reason I think that we don't get to that level is plain and simple. There's nothing more to it. The money. That's it. If I had the money, I'm not saying I could have gone farther for sure. Like how other stories of other drivers that you and I know.
Yeah.
And that's a sad truth, dude.
Well, I think there's going to be opportunities moving forward
At
with a
that
lot
time,
of
sorry, JP.
yeah.
At that time,
Yeah.
this was 14 years ago. Now, Alex, your time, you're very lucky. I think. I mean, now your time, you have more opportunities, more windows, more
Yeah.
connections. There's social media. There's Tuason Racing. There's all sorts of avenues for you. But my time, JP, was hard. It was very hard. I mean, how about more your time, JP Tuason?
I had a famous father, so I had a daddy sponsor. I
Lolo,
was lucky.
Lolo
I
naman.
was lucky. All right, so okay, but before we talk about how to develop in motorsports and how to get started and where to go, right, the career path. What I want to do is I want to talk a bit about your motorsports careers, and I think it's best to get started with Alex. We'll go by
Yeah.
age, right? So Alex, how did you get started in motorsports? And I think we've got some photos that we can share here.
Yeah, I mean, I've been kind of racing for, I mean, more than half of my life, so 11 years, and I'm 17 now. So my kind of love for it started in that picture actually when I was on a family trip in Subic. And so I sat on my Tito's lap and he took me for a couple of rides. And afterwards, I kind of fell in love with it, you know. I wasn't driving it, but it was just the speed and like the thrill of racing. Everything made me love it. And suddenly that track is not there anymore. So I went and looked and it's not there, but still that passion is there. And then when I got back to Singapore, I drove on a simulator, and not like a cool simulator, like those arcade ones where you put the money inside. And I couldn't reach the pedals, so I had to get my sister, you know, to press the pedals for me. And and then after that, yeah, I just started like at a small track in Singapore, and then like did a lot of practice. Like I was maybe practicing 4 times a week since I kind of really fell in love with it at that point. And yeah, just got improved, did some racing, and then kind of transitioned to racing around Asia in go-kart. And then from there, I did maybe 6 years and won around 5 championships, and then moved on internationally, now cars. So I guess that's kind of my progression briefly.
Okay, well, we've got a couple of photos, and maybe you can talk us through some of these photos that you've got.
Yeah, I mean, this one was me winning the 2013 national title. And I mean, I like this picture because if you look closely, you can see me really shouting in the helmet, like cheering on that I won. So this was a pretty good moment for me, since this was my second career title back to back. I think that was a pretty big moment.
Dude, that's
for
a
me.
solid picture, bro.
Yeah, you can really.
I
How,
see the
how
glory
old are
in
you
your
in
eyes.
this photo? Because you look really short.
Yeah, I think I was 9 or
You're
10.
tall now. You're really tall now, bro. This is a small go-kart. So
Yeah, that was mini Alex. But yeah, I think this was when I was 9 or 10.
okay.
And I was kind of, you could see me really loving it in that helmet,
Yeah.
screaming there.
Yeah, you got it, bro. You got yours that day.
Okay,
Yeah.
so we've got another
Yes.
photo. What have we got? Okay.
Okay. So
What's this all about?
for the 2017 X30 Championship, which was around Southeast Asia. So the reason I feel this was quite a big moment is since in this championship, I think out of the 6 rounds, I won 4 or 5 of them. So I felt that this season was one that I kind of matured in my racing career. So at this age, I was around 14. So here I felt was kind of a transition where I was kind of enjoying the sport as well, but also being more mature about it and understanding more of how the kart works and stuff. And I guess, that championship for me was a really fun year, and I really enjoyed that season, like 2017.
Nice. What else have we got? Is
Oh,
this
yeah.
part of
That's a lot
Yeah.
of silverware, bro.
Yeah. So this was the year before
Okay.
another championship win. And I think this was pretty good since I managed to do my first world title that year. And it's kind of it's very fun experience doing a world championship. You know, being there representing Asia against all the Europeans. It's fantastic experience. And it's kind of one of the things that makes you realize like how much you love motorsports so much to compete at that high of a level. And also this season for me was kind of an interesting one since it was my first full year in juniors.
Mhm.
I think like I really tried to kind of win it that year to go to the world championship, and looking at the silverware, I think I kind of completed that goal. So I found that very fun, and that's why I included this picture.
Okay, so let's see what else have we got. There we go.
Yeah, so
Rock International Final.
this was quite recent, I guess 2018 at the end of the year. So after this was my first year in seniors, which for the people watching, this is when you're 15 years old and onwards. So this was my world championship in rock, this was in Lonato, Italy. And I included this picture since this was me standing on top of the podium, finishing first in the qualification stages. And that's out of the whole world, out of all the drivers. So there was around 200 senior drivers there from across all the championships. All the best from each country would go to represent there. And so I included this since it kind of shows how, despite, you know, the Europeans, the Italians, they practice there all the time. It kind of shows how Asian driving and Asian drivers are progressing. That now we can compete with them, you know. So I found that really proud. Like I've been kind of racing in Asia. This is like my home territory, I guess. And then the fact that we can go there and still come first is, I think, something that I was really, really proud of.
Fantastic.
Proud of you, bro. I'm proud that happened, dude. It's solid. That's hard, JP. That field, those rock fields, those 200 fields, that's tough stuff. If you guys don't know, that's, I think, even tougher than Formula racing. No, because the racing's very close, bro, and dangerous.
It's super close, yeah.
Anyway, sorry, I just wanted to add.
No,
Yeah.
that's okay. And it's in these races, right? These super close races, because, you know, touching and bumping are not uncommon, right?
Yes.
As a matter of fact, people get punted off the track all the time, and I think Alex has a little story about that. I don't know if we have a photo about it though.
Alex,
What other photos do we have?
Do you give it or do you take it?
There, okay. So I guess we moved on from karting, but go ahead, Alex. Tell us about the stories.
Yeah, I mean, I'm talking for the last picture. I mean, the race is like from Tuesday onwards to Sunday. So, I mean, you can't really make a mistake any of those days. So that's why I guess the World Championship is so intense, like what Ivan said, like you cannot make a mistake in any of those days. So I guess looking back, it's like, wow, okay, it was 1 week of high pressure, high like power, you know, it's pretty fun times looking back.
Only the strong will survive.
Yeah. But yeah,
So,
it was pretty good.
What I remember with the World Championship races, because we've attended a couple. We've done we did the Rotax World Finals.
Yeah.
We did the CIK World Finals
Did
at
you do
Suzuka.
Suzuka when you were younger?
I did Suzuka,
you
yeah.
did there. I remember.
And I think connecting to the question of Ivan is, you know, when you get to those races and you first come out of the pits for you know, the initial practice sessions,
Yeah, dude.
you know, what happens is people get side by side, and then they'll try to take you out just for fun during practice, right?
Yeah.
So I think Ivan's question is, are you one of the guys that tries to take people out so that they
Yeah.
get psyched out? Or are you one of those guys that are always like, what
Take
the hell, man?
Yeah, what's this?
Well, I mean, I would say neither. I'm one of those guys who I would try and get the setup perfect and the driving perfect, so I'm never with anyone else. I'm just, it was never, it's not even
Good
giving
answer.
or taking.
Good
It's just,
Good answer, kid.
yeah,
Good
just-
answer.
Political answer.
Yeah. That's when you know that they're going somewhere, right?
Yeah,
they know how to
yeah.
answer questions like that. They don't get roped in by people like us.
yeah.
All right, so we've got a couple more photos, and then we're gonna move on to Ivan. So can we see the rest of the photos? There we go. Okay,
Yeah,
so
yeah.
The V1 na.
yeah. So
Yeah.
Alex, you want to talk to us about this?
Yeah, so this was last year V1 round 1 in Batangas. So this was my first race in cars, and I found it it was really, really fun race. Like I really enjoyed the wheel-to-wheel racing in V1, and it was such a great event thanks to JP, the man. And yeah, it was a really good first race since I managed to win all 3 of the races in my class. And it was pretty cool since this was my first time starting with, like, using the clutch on the start and then all the stuff that comes with cars. I wasn't really used to in the go-karts. And after that weekend, it was like I couldn't wait for the next one since it was so fun, such a new experience. Like I've been kind of racing for maybe 5-6 years before this, but this race, being in the car was like totally different. So it was pretty fun to do this.
Yeah, and like you said, you dominated it. It was crazy. You were faster than a bunch of the pros.
He killed them.
He did.
He did. Nice. Good job, little man.
They were all like, oh man, what's up with this?
Yeah, it was fun. I enjoyed that a lot.
Okay, and then you did some testing. You did some testing for some races this year, right? I think we have a photo as well. There we go.
Yeah. So this was me testing a Mustang car for the TA2 Asia series. That was supposed to happen a couple of weeks back, which is kind of sad because it got cancelled because of COVID. And I mean, driving this car was such an awesome experience. It's like a V8.
It looks like a monster, right?
It's a monster,
America.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that's like one of the coolest cars you can drive, like proper muscle car. And yeah, I mean, I was looking forward to the race that would have been a couple of weeks back, and I was kind of preparing for that, but because of the pandemic, it kind of closed down. But yeah, that was such a cool experience to drive that car. I mean, it was going around like 230, and it's such a small straight, so fast. And like you have these massive tires. It feels like a boat, but with this car, it's pretty cool.
I'm jealous.
Okay. So quick question, Alex, to wrap up this part. Tin tops or single seaters? You can't say both. Yeah.
I will go with single seaters. Just because you feel the wind and stuff.
Yeah.
You feel the wind going on and all that stuff. So it's more immersed.
I hear you. Okay. Let's move on to Ivan. Ivan, how did you get started in motorsport? I think we've got some photos on you.
Yeah. What you gonna post?
Let me see. What have we got here? What have we got? We've got a lot of stuff from the baol because you're kind of old already. You're like
dude. I'm 34. Little Alex, I'm 34 by the way. Let's talk about
let's talk about the start. Let's go to the start, okay. Right? So I think you did karts as well, right?
I come from like JP. I come from a family of racers. My uncle and my father were racers, so I'd be taken everywhere when I was a child, and I'd even ride in Tito JP's go-kart, wanting to trade it for a little radio for his go-kart when I was young. I'm sure you remember that, JP.
Yeah, I met you.
Anyway, I grew up with it.
Crazy.
But the problem was my family didn't want to support me when it was my time because they ran out of money with my father and my uncle, so they knew better already. And I was very lucky that Mike Potenciano was around these times, and he had this team, and he started me up with go-karts, and I started go-karts, I met this guy named, after winning a championship with Mike Potenciano in the KT100, I met this guy named Eduardo Peña, who was the president of Formula 3 before, maybe like 15 years ago, JP?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? So he gave me a deal. He goes, Ivan, if you can win a go-kart championship, I'll give you a deal with cars. So I did. And I ended up in Formula Cars. Luckily enough, bro, nothing from my pocket. I'm very fortunate. And also, I've raced cars for the Tuason Racing Ford Lynx. Good experience. Anyway, let's talk about this picture.
All right, go.
So we'll move forward. This was my single-seater year in Formula Toyota. I won the championship. I haven't driven any cars prior to this. I just came from go-karts, so I would always crash, bro. I'd always crash big time. Yeah, I'd always crash.
But tell Ivan, tell Alex, what is your motto, which everybody now says.
Dude, when in doubt, Alex, flat out, bro.
Yeah. Okay.
This was a good season under Edgen Villaco, and I'm very grateful for this year of this picture of motorsports. Good good memories and a good experience in single seater. Well, you
so take that with a grain of salt, though, Alex.
yeah.
All right. Any other photos that we have here of you driving?
There
we go.
So there, after my
dude, this is like you know what year this was? This is like 2004.
Yes. So JP Tuason, Mr. JP Tuason started this series for everybody, for novice and advanced, because there was no level playing field before. So like if you'd win before in a touring car, people would be like, oh yeah, he won because he's got more budget. But here in this Ford Link series, everybody was just the same. So it was an amazing series, amazing experience. And of course, it's way different to drive a car than a single seater. So it was a challenge for me, but very fun, bro. Good times, good bumping, good challenge. You can't go far, close racing, the best.
Were you racing the same year that Michelle Bumgarner was there, and Mark and John Marcello? You were there those years, right?
Yeah, that was the first year. That was a good year, bro. That was a very good year. Very stressful year for you. Very stressful year for
we were paying for all the bills, all the stuff you guys were breaking. Holy cow, that was a lot.
Thank you for that, by the way.
Okay, so I don't know if we have anything more. Oh, there we go.
Oh, there. Oh, this one's a solid one. Look, I've won many championships, won many races, but this one I will never forget. So let me tell you guys life lessons from
who's in this photo with you? Okay.
Marlon Stockinger is the best. I think the best as the Philippines has produced. But sad story too, funding has stopped his career. But he drove a Formula One, so he's really my idol. He's tested a Formula One, and a great guy. Anyway, this race is the championship race of ACOC. The night before, I decide to get into a fight with my girlfriend. I decide to take it out on the wood wall that I thought was wood. I punch the wall and it's cement. I break my hand the night before the championship. If you look at the picture closely, can you rewind, Oyi? Rewind to the picture of me and Marlon, please. No, me and Marlon. Just me and Marlon. No, not that. Yeah. Look at my hand there on the right. See that? That's a broken hand. You see me crying? I won that race with a broken hand, dude. Nobody knew.
All right.
So put that out there. Marlon, I whooped your ass with a broken hand.
So, Alex, these are all the things not to do, okay?
Yeah, these are all life. Guys, no, I can speak it freely.
Life lessons from Tito Ivan. Don't do this. Don't do any of this.
Wins is pretty impressive, though.
Yeah.
If you
this is how you not get to Formula One, right?
Dude, and this is the grid. This is the grid where everybody was just 0.1, 0.2 out in the top 10. These are like the races you have, like the killer races, bro. The races you never forget. Anyway.
Okay. Very cool.
Nice.
All right, let's move on.
Let's move on now.
Let's move on. What other photos do we have?
Oh, that's me schooling everybody. There, the bus driver, bringing everybody to school.
Who are these guys?
From right is Mark Bumgarner, Matteo Guidicelli, Marlon Stockinger on the left, and Daniel Glick. All fantastic people, all fantastic drivers. That was just my day.
And you beat them all, right? You beat them all.
But that was just my day, bro. Their day. Everybody has their days, right, Alex?
Yeah, confirm.
All right, cool. So next, what have we got?
This is good. Oh, this is Macau, dude. This is one of those world final killers. So this was good. I qualified fifth. I got bumped out in the second to the last heat. So I started 40th place. Wow. I fought my way back up to fifth, bro. Dude, whoa. Wow. That race I cannot forget, bro.
From 40th to 5th, huh?
Yeah, 40th to 5th, bro. Rotax 125. Cool. Crazy race.
Nice. Okay, what else do we have? Okay. So I guess we're now moving to today. What are you up to?
We're moving forward now. Anyway, so after triathlon, I got into boxing. So I was supposed to get in. I love fitness, guys. Like, fitness has saved my life. When I was your age, Alex, I'd like to party. Like, fitness was not my priority. My priority was partying, going out. That's why you're very lucky, and I actually look up to you. You're very composed.
Thank you.
So anyway, moving forward, fitness has changed my life and changed a lot of people's lives. So I stick to it. So boxing, gives me, focus and how do you say this? Responsibility to take care of my body. Anyway, I was supposed to get into an amateur fight, a black tie event with you see that? That's Pacquiao's son, right? So I train
okay.
I train in the Manny Pacquiao circle. So that
Okay.
trainer on the right, the thin guy, is Pacquiao's mitts guy. He gives me the mitts, bro. So
Cool.
it didn't happen, but I hope it will happen.
Okay. Good luck. We'll be watching out for that.
Thanks, JP.
Okay, so moving forward, guys. So let's talk about really the topic tonight. Yeah. And the situation that we have. You guys have been following it very closely. Things that are happening now. With the situation that we have now, I mean, how would a aspiring young driver get involved in motorsports? What's the best way to get started now?
Alex, go for it, bro.
I mean, I think the best way now is to start with simulators, since the simulators nowadays are pretty good. I mean, 10 years ago when I started, it doesn't seem like much that long ago, but I was playing on those arcade ones, not so realistic. But now you have those simulators that are super, super realistic. So I think for me, the way to really get into it would be to kind of hone your skills and kind of learn a lot of motorsport tips and tricks from simulator driving, and
Right.
possibly join a league like JP Tuason's cool online league to kind of race with good drivers, but you can still kind of do it on a budget and you don't need to be in a proper car or anything. So I think, yeah, simulator racing nowadays is a pretty good way to go to learn and kind of get into the sport.
Yeah, I'm totally aligned with your thoughts, Alex, because for somebody who wants to get involved in motorsport, the cost now for entering go-karts is actually quite high, right?
Yeah.
No, it's not
the
quite
cost.
high, either, JP. It is high.
Okay, so the cost of buying a go-kart now is almost the same as buying a used race car, right? So
Yeah.
it becomes kind of prohibitive thinking about it that way. But I'm totally agreeing with you guys that a good start now is to try esports.
Yeah.
Because the cost to do online racing it's quite low, the barrier to entry. A lot of people can afford to do it. Okay, if you want to invest in a proper rig and all of the little bits and pieces, then it starts to become expensive. But so long as you keep it very basic, it's not expensive. And I think although it's not exactly the same, you can get a lot of the basic skills, like for example the eye and hand coordination, right? Understanding the line, right? Understanding a little bit about correction and controlling the car. Again, it's different because, like I always say this, right? You don't have the same sort of butt feel. You have to have that feeling in your butt, right, when you're driving.
Sure.
And people that don't race, they think it's funny that they don't understand. But you have this feeling when you're racing in your butt that, okay, the car's gonna go off, and I can feel it. I can feel it in my my sweat, right? So you don't have that feeling. That's the only part that's missing. But a lot of the basic stuff can be found in esports, right? And that's why we're doing the programs now to grow the grassroots, to grow the number of enthusiasts, and from there people would move on. So if you did esports, and I know Ivan is very familiar with this, he just won the Celebrity Challenge. If you do well in esports, what's the next level to go to? What do you guys?
I think JP, you've been doing this quite a while. I mean, I know this has been on your radar for quite a while, no? Like what Alex said, simulator, best way to start. Go-kart, it's either you pick to go the go-kart way, which is very expensive. You're gonna go go-karting for a long time, or you go to a series of like Tuason Racing, of a one make series of cars. I think that's the steps, JP. I think those are it. I think it's either you go the touring car, you can play in a level field that's cheap, spend this certain amount of money, or you can spend money in go-karting. I don't know how big your pocket's gonna get and how far you're gonna go. That's my take.
So, taking a bit from taking a step back from that, right? I think the question would be for the up and coming drivers is to decide whether they want to do the single seater route or if they wanted to do the tin top route, right? So Alex wants to do single seaters. What would you do, Ivan? Would you do? single seaters, or
Of
you
course,
would
yeah,
do?
JP. Single seater is my specialty. But again,
Right.
like if your budget and you don't want to burn, you don't want to get yourself into trouble for racing, which I've done and a lot of people have done.
Yeah.
You wanna race, where you can afford it, where it's feasible, not stress level. So yeah, man, you gotta make your decisions.
Yeah.
You either go that way or this way.
Yeah, because the idea there is if you want to do single seaters, if you want to go F1, right? Then
That's it.
after the simulators, you want to go maybe go-karts,
Yep.
and then you go into entry-level single seaters like maybe a
Renault,
Formula Renault
V1.
or a V1, right? And then move on from there.
Yes.
But if you wanted to do tin tops, like you wanted to be a GT driver, right? Blanc Pan driver or Le Mans, then the route would be to go to touring cars,
Yes.
right? You would go from the simulators, then you go to touring cars, then you go into GT cars, right? That would be the progression there.
That would be
Yeah.
the progression.
Yeah, correct.
Correct.
Makes sense?
Yep. That's the way.
Okay, cool.
I
yeah.
mean,
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex.
depending on the budget, I guess, for tin top cars as well, doing go-karts is always good since you hone that those skills that you can't really gain from cars, like such as close contact racing. And also in a go-kart is kind of like it's the closest, a lot of F1 drivers say it's the closest you can get to F1.
It is the
driving,
closest,
yeah.
bro. It is.
Yeah.
It's really fast paced, it's really quick. So you hone those small skills that you can't really get elsewhere. So I guess in that sense, karting is quite useful for tin top, but it does come the question of budget as well.
Yeah.
So Alex, you would recommend that that a newbie still do a bit of karting before
Yeah.
moving on to cars, yeah?
So maybe
Okay.
1 or 2
I
seasons.
agree.
Yeah.
I recommend that too.
You know, I had a discussion with someone very recently, and the interesting thing that they said was very similar. They said karting is important to gain a bit of experience in terms of things being very quick, like you said.
Yep.
But what they told me that surprised me was they said that it's important to get in and get out right away, right? Get what you need to get out of karting and then get out of it right away, because the problem is, like you said, Ivan, the costs start to escalate very quickly in karting. Right?
You can get sucked into it.
Yeah.
Bad. Go-kart can hurt your pocket bad, man.
So I think it would really depend on where you want to go. If you want to go and do single seaters, then you would stay in the go-kart route. If you wanted to do touring cars, you do go-karts, learn what you need to learn, and then move on, right? Move on.
Got it. Yeah. That's the one. Bro.
So what are your thoughts on motorsports moving forward? Do you think esports will replace real racing, or you think
Definitely. Yes. So while we don't have any racetracks open, people will have to evolve. And e-racing's very big, JP, and everybody who's listening, esports is a huge thing. And you guys are just starting it here in the Philippines, and dude, it's limitless. It's limitless. So I believe in e-racing right now. Because now, what will we do? Plan a practice session in Batangas?
Yeah. What are your thoughts, Alex?
Yeah, I mean, definitely e-racing is a good positive change to the motorsport scene, and I guess it will get more and more big in the future. But I think physical racing as well will still be there, since you have those teams that want to have that engineering aspect to the real cars. Team will get bigger and it will grow with motorsports. So it's not really either or, but it's kind of both together, and maybe they'll combine a bit more, since now it's more like one is a game, one is real life, but maybe in the future we'll see them combined together. Yeah. So it's just one big motorsports thing. It's not gaming and driving. It's just together. Yeah. One thing.
Okay. So what do you think with that happening? And I agree with you both, right? That on both sides, I think it'll grow and it'll somehow intersect somewhere, right? Yeah. Because what we're seeing already now is the really good esports players are being hired by Formula One teams to train with the Formula One drivers, right? On the simulators, right? So that what's happening is the professional sim drivers are setting the pace on the simulators, then letting the Formula One drivers get in, and then that's how they hone their skills together.
Yeah.
So if that is kind of what's happening now, what do you guys see happening in the further future? What do you guys think are going to be the big developments in motorsports? Any ideas?
Wow, me right now, JP. I can't really say because of our situation now, but I'm sure it's gonna be a lot more digital. It's gonna be a lot more e-racing. There's gonna be a lot more simulation until this Corona ends.
Do you guys think this VR racing is ever gonna take off? I mean, you've seen Ready Player One, right? Where they put on the goggles and all of that,
dizzy,
and then
bro.
you get dizzy.
I get dizzy, dude.
Yeah,
I won't. Or maybe it's my age. I don't know. I don't know.
I'm right behind you, man.
Let's
I'm
ask
right
Alex.
behind you.
Alex, do you get dizzy?
Yeah, I still get dizzy as well, but I'm pretty sure once, like in the future, once the technology develops, I think it will definitely get better. Since, I mean, if you look back a couple of years, no way would you have thought that, like, the esports scene that we think that's happening now would happen, but probably in the future, when VR tech improves, maybe it will happen. So we never know. It depends on the.
We never know, Japes.
Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna move on right now, and I think Alex, you've got something that you want to raffle off. We're gonna do a quick raffle to our viewers tonight. So what have you got, Alex?
So I got Alex Brown app.
Man, an Alex Brown hat.
Yeah, man. And then
you know you've made it when you have your own hat.
Yeah.
You don't need to sign autographs anymore. Just give the hat away. It's all good.
Just give the hat. That's his calling card, bro. That's Alex's calling card.
And Alex Brown shirt. So this will be.
Oh my God! It's the Alex Brown collection, dude.
Yeah. It looks like a Tuason Racing shirt as well. So that's added benefit.
Nice. Okay, so Alex is gonna give this stuff away. And what we're going to do is we're even going to ask him to sign it, right? I want you to sign it, Alex, because one day when you become a Formula One driver or a Le Mans driver, we want to make sure that whoever wins this stuff is going to say, wow, I won this gear from TRS.
And we can repost this video, JP.
That's right. Okay, so what you need to do, Alex, is you got to ask a question, all right? Ask a question, whatever question you want, so that people can comment in the box below. And whoever comments the correct answer, okay, the fifth person to give the correct answer, it can be something we talked about now, it could be something that they Googled, whatever, but the fifth correct answer down below, fifth and sixth, because we've got 2 items to give away, we'll get these Alex Brown items. Keep in mind that Alex is in Singapore. We have to wait for the items to get here when they can get sent, but we will contact you. Yeah. All right. So Alex, 1 question, 2 items. What have you got?
Okay, so that picture I was talking about when I was screaming in the helmet doing this. Yeah. What year was that?
What year was it? Okay.
Yeah, what's that? I'm pretty sure I mentioned.
That is a great question, and I think we need to give a little hint, right? What was the championship called?
Singapore Karting Championship.
Okay. So what year did Alex Brown win the Singapore Karting Championship? Is that right, Alex?
Yeah, that's correct.
That's the question.
So the answer, the 5th and 6th correct answer, get a hat or a shirt. Put your comments down below, and you guys are gonna win stuff. Okay, Ivan, you're gonna give out a race shirt, right? And you're gonna sign it as well. And you have to remember, everybody.
Pardon?
You have to remember, everybody, that Ivan is not only a race car driver. He is a celebrity already on his own. You can see him on reruns of Provinciano, because right now they're not showing it. But he is the Contrabida. He is the most famous Contrabida on the Provinciano show. Okay, so Ivan, what are you giving away?
Okay, when I was working in the Tuason Racing as a coach and safety driver, I am raffling out the shirt that I used signed, and I rode in a car with the Drift King himself with that T-shirt, and smoked a cigarette with him. Oh, what?
Okay, all right, great. We don't have a photo, but you've got the shirt. You're gonna sign it as well, right? Okay, yes, so Ivan, what is your question?
All right, my question is, how old am I?
Man, did we say that in the podcast?
Yeah,
We
I
did?
remember
I
you
did.
Oh, you did. Okay. All right. Cool.
Oh,
All right.
no,
If not,
oh,
they're
no.
gonna Google
That's
it.
good.
Yeah, let's go. That's it.
The hint is Ivan is almost a tito. So there you go. Not quite yet, but getting there, getting there. He's almost a tito. Okay, so
Hey
he's
Alex,
definitely.
I hope we hang out one day, dude. When you
Yeah,
come
man.
back here.
That would be pretty cool.
If
All
Tito
right,
JP
so-
will let us test his cars when we come back.
For sure, guys. Okay, so
Yeah.
guys, parting words. Do you have any upcoming projects? Anything you want to announce to the viewers?
I
Alex?
gotta announce. First, restaurants are open, food's open. Please take your takeouts from the Johnny Manila and Locavor. It's open every day. And I'm gonna be shooting my movie soon. Maybe in a month. So I'll be happy for that. And the Tuason Racing series for e-racing. Please watch out for that, guys.
Yes. All right.
That's it.
Thank you, Ivan. Thank you. Okay, Alex.
Yeah, I
any
mean,
parting words?
thank you guys all for watching, and hopefully you guys all staying safe in your houses. And I also like to give a big thanks to my team, Avengers Racing. So unfortunately, I couldn't see them this year for the VOS, but hopefully I'll be there soon and see you guys in the short while, I guess. So yeah, hopefully I'll see you guys. And also a big thanks to JP for organizing this event and
Thank you
also
so much,
organizing
man.
all the esport events and stuff. It's pretty cool stuff. So yeah, thank you, JP.
Yeah, thank you guys for being on the show. We're going to be launching a new esports program very, very soon. I would love to see both of you guys joining.
Yeah, let's
it'll
do
be
it,
awesome.
Alex,
You better
come on.
set up your rigs.
It's my chance to beat you.
I'll train hard.
Okay, you guys, my name is JP Tuason from Tuason Racing. Please stay home, please stay safe, and see you guys online. Peace.
See you, everybody. Thank you.
Thank
Bye,
you.
JP. Bye, Alex. Take care.
See you
Thank
guys.
you, Oyi. Thank you, Lal. Bye.
See you.